Today, we're taking a hard look at one of the most legendary big bore cartridges this country's ever seen, the 4570 Government. Just like how In God We Trust sits deep in the heart of our nation's soul for a whole lot of seasoned shooters. This here's the only kind of government they've ever truly put their faith in. This round ain't just famous, it's battle-tested, and when things get real hairy, it's the one folks count on to get 'em through. It first showed up way back in the year 1873 when the U.S. military put it to work in the single-shot Springfield trapdoor rifle. But that's just where the trail starts. The cartridge really found its stride when it proved itself in rifles like the Sharps carbine and the Remington rolling block. With its walloping knockdown power and long reach, it's earned a solid place in the world of dangerous game hunters. Whether you're stalking whitetail in the timber or going after wild hogs down in the thickets, the 4570 gets the job done, and it don't ask twice. And if lever-action rifles with old-school grit and style are your kind of iron, you're in for a treat. But before we go too far down that trail, let's backtrack a bit and see how this cartridge carved out its place in the roots of American gun culture. If you hunt anywhere across North America, chances are you've heard of or even run this brute of a round. The 4570 Government has seen its fair share of ups and downs in popularity over the years. Some folks swear by it like it's gospel, while others wonder if it still holds water in today's modern age. But let's clear the air right now. This here cartridge was one of the very first centerfire rifle rounds ever put together. It was born to run on black powder, though nowadays most folks are loading it with smokeless, which really kicks its performance up a notch. When it first hit the scene in 1873, it was matched up with a single-shot Springfield rifle. The original load was a 405-grain lead slug pushed by 70 grains of black powder, all packed into a copper hull. The name follows the old black powder-style caliber first, then powder charge. So what you've got is a 45 caliber bullet backed by 70 grains of propellant. Way back then, that big old chunk of cast lead could be slung at roughly 1,350 feet per second, packing more than 1,600 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. For the time, unless you were dragging a cannon through the brush, the 4570 was about as heavy-hitting as it got. It served proud through the Indian Wars, and the Army kept it in circulation, though not in huge numbers during the Spanish-American War and even the scrap down in the Philippines. Several versions of the trapdoor Springfield saw action, and the cartridge also found a home in the early Gatling guns. The U.S. Navy and Marine Corps ran rifles chambered for it too. Its time in uniform built it a solid reputation, and that carried over into civilian hands. Wasn't long before hunters all over the American frontier were looking to get their mitts on rifles that fired the 4570. Gun makers caught on quick, rolling out both single shots and lever guns chambered in this thumper. That gave rise to legends like the Sharps Model 1874, the Remington Keen, and the good old rolling block rifles that became must-haves for serious backwoods hunters. Even shooting nothing but soft lead, this round brought down just about anything from deer and black bears to full-grown moose and bison that could block out the sun. Now, let's take a closer look at why the 4570 Government still commands respect across the shooting world. First up, the Buffalo era. Now, this part of history ain't exactly something to be proud of, it's one of the grimmer stretches in our past. But you just can't talk about the legacy of the 4570 without bringing up what it did during the near wipeout of the American bison. Alongside its older cousin, the 5070, this round was front and center in the massive buffalo hunts that tore through the plains back in the 19th century. As hard as that time is to look back on, it sure makes one thing clear: this cartridge could flat out put down big, rugged animals, and it did it with nothing more than those old black powder loads. That kind of stopping power is exactly why you'll still hear hunters call it buffalo bore to this day, and yep, it's legal for hunting the biggest game out there. Another notch in the belt for this cartridge is how more and more state wildlife agencies are giving it the green light. Take Ohio, for instance. They now allow straight-walled rifle cartridges like the 4570 Government for deer season. Used to be, you were stuck using shotgun slugs. But these days, it's made the official list in a handful of states, which makes it a whole lot more practical for hunters across the Midwest and beyond. A living relic. This round's been riding with us since the 1870s, and believe it or not, it's still holding its own. That fact alone speaks volumes. If you've ever had the itch to feel a piece of the old frontier right in your hands, the 4570 delivers that experience. Only now, you get it paired with modern rifles and souped-up loads. Tailorable power. The 4570 is a handloader's dream come true. Whether you're looking for a soft shoot and cast lead round for knocking cans around, or a hard-hitting load built to punch clean through thick hide and bone, this Cartridges got you covered. Want something light for small game or a laid-back day at the range? You can cook up some mild cowboy-style loads. Need to bring the thunder? Just crank it up with stout charges made for big critters. This round's as versatile as a ranch dog. It can wear a whole lot of hats. Bullets to match. The bullet choices for this round are just as wide open. Standard diameter's 45.8 caliber, and you can either cast your own at home or grab from a hefty spread of store-bought slugs. You can run the old-school flat nose cast bullets, go with modern jacketed rounds that expand on impact, or even load up with solid, deep punching designs meant for dangerous game. From weight to shape, you've got options all across the board. Just depends on what kind of job you've got in mind. Powder choices. Even though it was first built to burn black powder, the 4570's taken to smokeless like a trout to cold water in today's world. That said, there's still a loyal bunch of traditionalists who swear by black powder loads not just for nostalgia, but to keep that frontier spirit alive and kicking. Whether you're running black or smokeless, this cartridge takes to it like it was made for the job either way. Multiple rifle platforms. When it comes to rifles chambered in 4570, there's something out there for just about every kind of shooter. You can keep it old school with a classic Springfield trapdoor or a Remington rolling block, if history's your thing. Or maybe you lean towards something with more bite like a Siamese Mauser conversion. Lever guns from outfits like Marlin and Henry are real crowd pleasers, whether you're hunting deep in the brush or just putting in time at the range. They give you fast follow-up shots and that classic Western look. And if you're the kind who likes to make every shot count, the single-shot Ruger No. 1 can handle heavy loads and deliver serious punch with each squeeze of the trigger. However you like to shoot, there's a rifle that fits the bill. Bear protection in the last frontier. When you're talking personal defense up here in bear country, plenty of Alaskans reach for a fast-handling lever gun chambered in 4570 government. And that ought to tell you plenty. If this round can stop a full-tilt grizzly in the thick backcountry, then it's more than enough for anything you're likely to face down in the lower 48. One round to rule them all. When you're not sure what caliber to run with, the 4570's a solid choice. It's been tested, trusted, and it's usually easier on the wallet than a lot of your other big game options. This is one of those rare cartridges that can handle just about anything you throw at it and handle it with confidence. Factory ammo options. Not everybody's got the time or gear to hand load, and that's perfectly fine. These days, factory ammos come a long way. Take Hornady's Lever Revolution line, for instance. It uses flex-tip bullets, which safely boost ballistic performance in tube-fed rifles. Those polymer tips help flatten out the rainbow arc the 4570 used to be known for. If you're looking for serious bone-breaking punch, check out the hard cast loads from Cast Performance, or the deep driving offerings from Lehigh Defense. Standard flat nose bullets will cruise at around 1,300 feet per second, while the newer jacketed hollow points can push between 2,000 and 2,200 feet per second, numbers that would have sounded like tall tales to our great-granddads. And that's a wrap, folks. For all its complicated history, the 4570 government still stands tall as one of the most capable and versatile cartridges ever made. Modern ammo companies keep breathing fresh life into it, cranking out factory loads that hit harder, fly flatter, and perform better than ever before. Just a word to the wise, always double-check that your rifle's rated for the load you're running, especially with some of those hotter rounds floating around these days. So, what's your take on the 4570 government? Let me know down in the comments. Appreciate you riding along. We'll catch you in the next video.